Howdy everyone, my name is Pacha and welcome to this showcase of the upcoming Barnyard Animal Pack as well as update 1.17. The DLC itself as well as the update will release tomorrow and you can buy the DLC for £7.99, $9.99 or €9.99 depending on where you are from, and the update 1.17 as itself is free for everyone. You just have to update your Planet Zoo game on Steam. Big thanks to Frontier for giving me early access to the pack as well as the DLC itself, so I can make this showcase for you and prepare you basically for everything you can expect from both of them, so you know if it's worth it to buy or not. In this showcase we will go first over everything DLC related, so all the animals and then all the pieces that you get when buying the DLC, and then we will jump into the update 1.17 and I will show you all the new stuff like the new pieces as well as the new animal guest encounter. So with that said, I would say we don't waste any more words and jump right in with the animals of the Barnyard Animal Pack. What better way to start than with the headliner animal of this pack, the Sussex Chicken, our first, I think, Gallimorph? No, we got the peafowl in the base game, but our first real chicken in this game, and I just can say the model looks fantastic. All the waddling and movement in the, I don't know, is it the crest or what you want to call it, stuff like that, and itself, the movement itself of the chicken when it moves around. You can see that here in the background with this hen, with the head bobbing back and forth, very typical chicken-like. And it is a fine chicken. The babies are super cute. They went for a little bit of an older model here, so they are not as yellow as you would expect from a baby chick. They are more mature and already display the adult plumage. And speaking of plumage, as far as I know, we only get two colors. One, of course, is the standard white one that you saw here, and then we have this brown, grayish, speckled one. There might be more color morphs. I don't know. I didn't manage to find any more. Maybe there are more. Maybe Leaf, who has always a little bit more luck with all their color variants, has more of them to show. But the standard ones or the most common ones are the white one and the brown speckled one. And I think nothing more to say about it. It's a chicken. It is great that we have one. And I think they did everything right with the model and with the movement itself. So really cool to finally have this small bird species in the game. Next up is, I think, one of the most anticipated animals in the game and at the same time one of the most controversial animals of the game, the Highland Cattle, or more specific the Scottish Highland Cattle. And first of all, I love these animals. They are amazing in real life. They are such a cute cow species, but I also can see why people are maybe a little bit disappointed with it, especially when it comes to the fur, because these animals in real life are known for having very shaggy fur, very long dripping down fur, and Planet Zoo didn't really did a good job with displaying that in game. We have these almost like colorations or markings that simulate that, and if you go very closely from the side, if I pause the game here, you see it is a little bit fluffy, and of course you have the whole thing with the head where the hair is going over the eyes like it does in real life, and the cows, I don't know how they are able to see, but they somehow do. But still, I think Frontier could have done a little bit more of a better job with the hair itself. And now it's always complicated to make such make a lot of loose hair that also moves individually, but we know they can do it, we know they are able to do that, and maybe we will get an update to it. I would really hope so, because then it would make this animal from one of the less favorites of this pack in terms of modeling to one of my favorites. Speaking of, as you see, we already have different colorations here. We have this standard, very typical brownish reddish one that is very standard color for Highland Cattles, but we also get, as you just saw, a cream colored one, a cream to white colored one, and then we get what is really cool, this very black grayish coloration. which I'm really happy about. And if it wouldn't stand in the shadow, maybe you could see something. Now I think it moves in the sun. Yeah, this is a really cool coloration. Hopefully I get one for my own zoo when I'm building for these animals. But yeah, apart from the model itself or from the hair itself, it's a wonderful animal. The babies are super cute, as you can see here. I think with the babies they did everything right, and if they give the same love to the adults as they do with the babies, I think then it will be the best animal in this pack. As I said, the Alpine Goat might become one of my favorite animals from the DLC, and that is not because it looks amazing. It has a really cool model, which some compare is a little bit too similar to the Alpine Ibex, which makes somewhat sense because the Alpine Goat stems from the Alpine Ibex, is a domesticated form of it, but because of all the different color variations that this goat comes with. First of all, before we go look at these color colorations, the model itself is, it's a typical goat. It has this little goat beard, it has the horns, both female and males display the horns, and the babies has tiny little horns as well, which is, I think, very cute. And yeah, the baby itself is just a cute little bugger. I'm happy about all the baby animals in this TC. They nurse them, really disappoint, so it's really cool. But yeah, talking about the colorations, we have, as we see here, the typical brown one. This is the most common coloration that you will find on the market, with some of these black markings throughout. Then we also have, which now lies in the shadow here. Let's see if I can get some light in it. Yeah, this totally black one, which I think is really cool. The black devil goat, basically, called Noir in the game, which is a little bit more rare. And then you have these, I think, broken, what is this called? Broken Chamoisé. I hope I'm not mispronouncing it too much. These are almost bepaulled colorations with the brown and white markings on the body. And the cool part is it's not only this variant, we also have this variant, which almost looks like it's wearing little white pants, which is, I think, super cute, and also has these white stripes running down its face. So a lot of different colorations. And as you can see, they can also, to an extent, use climbing frames or elevated platforms. So if you are building these, they can actually jump up and down from here, which is, I think, very cool. So you can build these typical goat exhibits with them jumping and climbing on rocks and other structures, which makes, as I said, this species one of my favorites of this pack. On spot number 4, we have the Alpaca, the little cousin of the llama, which we got with the South America pack way back in 2020, 2021, I don't know even anymore. And what is the more to say about it than it is just the cutest animal, among the cutest animals of this pack, even in its adult form. All the fluffiness that is going on, which they missed out on the Highland cow. They did right with the Alpaca, and as you can see, it comes in a ton of different color variations. We have totally white ones, we have totally black ones, we have blacks with white stripes, we have brown with white stripes, we have totally brown ones. So all the color variations that you already know from the llama also apply to the Alpaca. So you will have a huge variety of different colorations. None of them are really rare. Maybe some of them are more often than others, but you will be able to get a myriad of different styles and colors with this animal. So your alpaca habitats will never look the same and never look like a copy, just 5 copies of the same animal. Nothing more to say about these animals, so I would say we move on. Let's address the donkey in the room, and that is that this isn't a domesticated donkey. The American Standard Donkey, as Frontier calls it, isn't an American Standard Donkey, and that is because for 2 reasons. I mean, one major reason and one more smaller reason, but the one major reason that it misses the only significant difference between a domesticated donkey and a wild donkey, and that is a stripe down its shoulders. Usually domesticated donkeys have this darker brownish to black stripe down the shoulder, and that is how you usually can differentiate domesticated donkeys and wild donkeys, and this model lacks it. And that is also for one reason, because this model is just a slightly different reskin of the Somali wild ass from the Arid pack, which is also a shame. They just changed the color. I haven't compared them yet. I have compared them both side by side, but they don't really look that different Maybe Frontier will address some of these issues in an upcoming update or something like that. Would be really cool, because this is a cool animal. The donkey itself, even the Somali ass, are both cool animals. They look cool, they have cool sounds, they sound like a donkey, they behave like a donkey. And if you just would make these small changes, just the stripe down the shoulder, it would already elevate these animals from one of the worst, I think, of this pack as to one of the better ones. And yeah, if you want to know my opinion on the donkey, you can also just watch my Arid pack showcase where I talked about the Somali ass, because all the points there apply to this animal. So nothing more to say about this animal, apart from that I'm a little bit disappointed that we got, but basically a knockoff of the donkey here. And so let's move on to a much better animal. I think this animal will become one of the community favorites of the whole pack. The hill Radnor sheep from the hills of Wales looks amazing. It is only one from a very typical sheep. It has all the fluffiness on the main body, the darker face up front to distinguish them. The babies look just cute and make the cutest sounds. I don't know if you can hear in the background. They are shouting the whole time, and the males, the rams, have these amazing curved horns which just look amazing. I think, as I said, we already saw them in screenshots, you guys, and I already heard all the positive things that people said about the sheep, because I think it is one of the most high quality animals of the whole pack. I don't know what it was with the Highland Cattle that they missed the mark there, because we can see they are able to make these very fluffy furs, same with the alpaca, and I don't know, maybe we can get the same love that they gave the sheep also for the cattle. And yeah, again, nothing more to say. It is a sheep. This is a trend with this showcase here, because they are typical barnyard animals. What more to say about them? That they just look amazing. That Frontier did a great job. So I would say we move on to the last animal of the roster. The last animal in the Barnyard Animal Pack is, of course, the Tamworth Pig, our next British breed of domesticated animals, and a very distinctive one. I know some people were a little bit confused by the coloration of this pig, because typical pigs are more of this pink coloration, and the Tamworth Pig, the most distinctive feature is that it has this almost orange color to its fur, which I think lets it stand out from other pig species, from other domesticated pig species. And yeah, here you have one with a little bit more mud on its face, so it gets very dark. And yeah, it is a pig. It is a standard pig. It is cool that they went for a more rare breed, more rare British breed. And I know some people would have wished for some even more exotic ones, like the potbelly pig or stuff like that, the kune. But I'm happy with it. It is something you will see in barnyards, you will see on farms, you will see in petting zoos all over the world. You will see your standard normal pigs there. And if we need these more exotic breeds or these more distinctive breeds, I think modders can do the job there. Yeah, next to also the baby. Babies are super cute, like a little pig, just a little piglet that is adorable to look at. And yeah, this is all the animals from the pack, all 7 of them. We didn't get an exhibit animal this time, and they went with 7 animals because we also get some scenery pieces. And speaking of scenery pieces, let's jump over and look what the DLC has to offer for us. Surprisingly, for an animal pack DLC, this pack comes with a number of new pieces and plants that, albeit not many, are still amazing to have, and bring a lot of diversity and different ideas to make your ultimate farm animal area, petting zoo area. And we start with our plant selection this time, which isn't that much, but we get a new tree in 3 different sizes. This being the ginkgo tree, a very ancient, very old species of trees, and also very common throughout the world, not only in Asia but also in Europe and America. It grows in a lot of different climates and habitats, so really cool to have it. And we of course we already saw that in the trailer, we get the mice plant in a lot of different ways. We get a single one, we get 3 stems, we get 4, we get a row of mice. So really cool. They don't come with any fruits, or do you say fruits with mice, or do you see cones? I don't know. They don't come with their fruits on them, but we get the mice corn itself as a single piece later on. Then we also have these 2 planters over here. So these are also all from the plant section, nature section. We get these 2 planters. So one, this half barrel planter, and then this metal planter, almost like looking like a trough. And if we go over here, we come to our path items. No new paths this time, but we get, as always, we get a new bench with these hay bales and cloth pieces on top of them. We get these new cable reel tables, also with the hay bales and the cloth. We get this very cool looking bucket bin, so to say. So a bin in form of a bucket, and we get a new picnic canopy. As I said in my trailer analysis, it reminds me of these Italian restaurants and the cloth they have over their tables. Really cool. You can also, of course, recolor that one as you want. You can't recolor the other ones, sadly, but this is recolorable. Moving on, we get to our pieces, or Barnyard Animal Pack pieces, and we start off with a hay bale and a hay bale square. So really cool, really happy that we finally get hay as a piece in game, and we don't have to use the fetch pieces anymore to use as a stand-in for hay. And next we have our reward statue for the scenario. This time the Alpine Goat. I would have wished if we would have gotten something like a pig or a sheep or a cow or the chicken itself, because we already have a goat statue with the Alpine Ibex reward statue, but still it is nice to have. And as always, if you complete the scenario in bronze, silver or gold, you get the statue also in bronze, silver or gold. Moving on, we have our animal signs as usual in the now common texture or quality variant, not quality variant, in the new common style. We have, of course, the alpaca, the cow, the chicken, the donkey. Now here with the stripe, I don't know, it has the stripe here. I don't know why the real animal or the in-game animal doesn't have the stripe. We have the goat, we have the pig and a little piglet, and we have the sheep. Then we get the planter again, so the game sees it as 2 different pieces. So we have it in the plant section, nature section, then the construction section again. But we also get this amazing rustic barrel piece, and I know people have been wishing for real barrels for so long, so it's really cool to finally get one. We also get a new rustic bucket, which looks really cool, and this wooden crate, which is amazing. Then we get our, I think, first of 3 new fence types. This time the metal fence, which is recolorable in all different sections, as you can imagine. And we get a standard piece, we get some posts, we get a gate with the post, and we get, what is this called? Also, I think, a normal fence panel, and then this very thin piece over here, which is really cool. Then we get, another planter, which we already had in the nature section. I don't know why there are, why there are 2 sets of these. And we get the milk churn, which is really cool, just for some awesome farm scenery. Next up is the next set of fence, this time the picket fence. Very cool, also for if you're just building a neighborhood or an urban environment. You can also use this as a garden fence, and you can also recolor it if you want to. And then we get this rustic sign, which you can recolor, but you can't write on it. So it's not like the other signs where you can type stuff in and it disappears. So you have to use the font pieces to write something on it. But it's nice and big. It's very Wild West themed, so really cool. Next up, we get another tool, similar to the tools we got in the conservation pack. This time is a pitchfork, fitting for hay pieces. And then we get 3 new vegetable pieces. We get, of course, as I said, the corn piece. We get a leek, and we get a turnip. Really cool. I always love when we get new food items that we can use for our backstages or for some little gardens in our zoo. Up next, we have a rustic water pump. It doesn't work, it's not functional, it's just for aesthetics. And a weather vane, which you can also recolor to your liking. Then, really cool, we get a new rustic well. I know a lot of times we have built these wells out of in-game pieces, and it was always a little bit of a struggle because pieces are quite big, and getting this round shape is always, and also especially the smaller parts, is sometimes really complicated. But really nice that we finally get a standalone piece for a well, and we get a new wheat bundle that you always often see on farmlands when you collect the wheat to dry and binds them up into that shape. Then we saw that already in the info in the trailer and the screenshots. We get 2 new wheels. We get a more wagon wheel and more metal type wheel, and we get I think the biggest piece here, the wind pump, which is also again very much Wild West themed. Then our last set of fences, so to say, is the wood fence gate. It's not really a fence, it's a gate. We get 2 variants, one with the posts on each side, one without them, and we get the posts also in 2 different variants as a standalone pieces. Sadly, we can't recolor these, but what we can recolor is the rustic water tank, our final piece of the set. There we can change the color of the wood. If you're now asking, wait, wasn't there the stone fence that they showed heavily in the trailer as well as the screenshots? Is that not a new piece or something like that? No, the stone fence is not, very typical Scottish, English stone fence. It's not a new piece. It is made using the already available in-game small faux rock pieces. But if you want to use it, and if you say, okay, I'm not that good with building and I still want to have this fence, Frontier has you covered. If you go into the blueprint section and search for Barnyard Pack, you get 3 new blueprints, and one of them being this awesome gate with the fence, and there you have the stone gate fence. So you just have to delete everything else, make your own blueprint out of this fence, and then you can use this fence for whatever you need it to be. One of the last 2 things from the Barnyard Animal Pack is of course the new outfit, and this time it is very thematic with a checked shirt and an overall and this very silly looking chicken head, which I'm very much a fan of. The heads are always very much funny, but this I think is one of the better ones. And lastly, we also have the new career scenario, this time set in New Zealand, called Summer Sanctuary. We have to help Tiffany Summers with her problems. This time, bringing a rundown farm, basically a farm up to speed again, and transforming it into an animal sanctuary for all kinds of different and cool animals. This is everything you need to know, and that everything that is in the Barnyard Animal Pack. I have to say myself, it is a nice little pack, a nice little in-between pack. Now that we know that we get 1 more DLC this year, that makes it a very much nice filler pack with a lot of animals that the community wanted. Most importantly, domesticated animals. So if you have the money, I highly suggest buying it. If you don't have the money, then I would say wait for a sale. You don't miss out on much with this DLC. There's not like most important species or pieces in it, but it is a nice to have if you can afford it, and I would definitely recommend getting it if you are interested in domesticated animals or building a petting zoo. So this is everything about the Barnyard Animal DLC, and now we move on over to update 1.17. While update 1.17 isn't the biggest update and only comes with, as far as we content creators know, 1 new big feature, the animal encounters, it comes with an array of new pieces which are very awesome. First of all are the new animal encounter hygiene stations that you will need them to enable your guests to encounter or interact with the animals. We get this standalone piece, and then we get this array of free hygiene stations that you can place, and as well we get a new what is called, I think it's called the small guest gate. So different from the normal big guest gate, we now get a small variant which looks very awesome, looks very cool. And then up next we have some new free pieces. One of this being my favorite piece ever from the whole pack and update, which is the wild hedgerow in 3 different sizes, as you can see here, and it just looks amazing. And if you just sink it in You can also use it just as a random bush for something, but you can also make easy hedgerows, really cool hedgerows with these. So really happy that we got those. Then we have what we already knew about, the new flower section, the new flower, which is the Buddleia bush, a very common flower in Europe. We get 2 flowering variants in two sizes, and then 2 not flowering, flowerless variants, so to say. And lastly, we get 2 new tire pieces, which is really cool. We get a tractor tire. We don't get a tractor itself, but we get the tire of it. And we get a new truck tire. Really cool that they are also hollow. So you can make, for example, monkey swings out of it. You can place something in it, maybe some planters, stuff like that. Really nice to have these. That is all the pieces as far as I am aware from the update 1.17. And now let's move over to the last thing on our list, which is the new animal guest encounter. The big selling point of update 1.17 is the new animal encounter mechanic. This means that certain species in the game can now be interactive with from a guest. So a guest can interact with these animals, they can try to feed them, they can pet them, stuff like that. And the way that this works is that you first need an animal walkthrough. So you need to have a guest gate and then a path inside the habitat so that guests can enter said habitat. And what you then need, which is also, we'll show you how you see that easier in a moment, you need the new, the new hygiene station. You need to place these inside the habitat, and this activates basically the animal encounter. In just a moment they will start roaming around this exhibit, searching for an animal to harass, to interact with. And if you want to know if your habitat is fitting for animal encounter, you can go click on the habitat, and then you go into this new tab down here that's called animal encounters, and there you see all the points you need to check to make this habitat an animal encounter habitat. And this means you need to have a guest gate, you need to have a hygiene station, you need no dangerous animals, and you need interactive animals. So while there are many animals that guests can enter the habitat, there are only a few animals that guests can interact with. And as you can see, right now the guests are starting to roam around. They leave the path, which I think the first time they do that in this game, and now they are searching for an animal, as you can see here, and they start to interact with 3 people for 1 chicken. It seems a bit lot, but hey, what do I know about that? Yeah, there are a few different animations, for example, like this feeding animation. For bigger animals, they stand upright and pet that animal. Smaller kids, of course, try to feed the animals as they like to do. But yeah, as I said, there are only a handful of different animals that guests can interact with. And if you want to check out if your animal is able to be interacted with or not, there is an easy way to do that. If you click on the Wikipedia, you have now a new information down here in the species data, and this before this was guests can enter the habitat or guests can't enter the habitat. Now we have here guests, as always, guests can enter the habitat, so we can make a walkthrough. We of course have guests flee from, so there is no walkthrough possible. Guests will run away when they see the animal outside of its habitat. And then if you go to an animal that can be interacted with, like the alpaca, we now have this section over here, guests can interact. So this means that if you're building an animal encounter, the guest will interact with the animal. And I will now have on screen a full list of all the animals that guests can interact with. So this is each of them. We have all the barnyard DLC animals, of course. We have all 3 types of lemurs, so the cutter, the red ruffed lemur, and the black and white ruffed lemur. We have the capybara, we have the Colombian white-faced capuchin monkey, we have the European fallow deer, the Indian peafowl. We have, very surprisingly, we have the Japanese macaque, we have the llama, we have the quokka, the raccoon, which is also very surprising, the red-necked wallaby, and the reindeer. This is all current available animals that can be interacted with from guests, and all other animals are just either non-walkthrough animals or walkthrough animals. Basically, that's it. That is everything as far as we creators know about update 1.17. If there are more fixes or patches or secret changes, secret things that have been done, to the game. We don't know about it. We don't have the change log yet. That will be available on release day, so then we can see if there are more things to the update than just the animal encounter. I'm sure there are, but as I said, we have no knowledge about that. And yeah, this also wraps up our showcase of the Barnyard Animal Pack as well as update 1.17. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got an idea of what the DLC and the update are all about, and maybe you have already made your decision if you want to buy it or not tomorrow. Let me know in the comments what your favorite animal is. Let me know in the comments what your plans are with the DLC as well as with the new animal encounters. And then I hope I see you already tomorrow for a very special video celebrating the launch of the Barnyard Animal Pack. And yeah, until then, I wish you a great time, stay safe, and goodbye everyone.